Breaking news. Nnamdi Kanu's trial has finally been cancelled. Welcome to this YouTube channel. In case you're new to this YouTube channel, kindly hit the subscribe bell below because in this channel, I bring you everything that is trending and everything you need to know regarding Nnamdi Kanu's case. The paper you can see here on your screen is not an ordinary paper. It is a court order affirming that Nnamdi Kanu's trial that was scheduled to hold on the 10th of October has now been cancelled and shifted forward to the 26th of September, which is Friday this very week. This is a new development and it was reported by Aloy Ejimako, who is Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer. And I want you guys to stay put because I'm going to reading out the content of this very order, which is a hearing notice from the Federal High Court of Nigeria, because this has to do with Nnamdi Kanu. Because why I'm bringing this here is for you guys to be enlightened and in order to follow up, because this week will be a very crucial week in Nnamdi Kanu's case. That is why I have said that if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do well to hit the subscribe bell below because I'll be bringing you every detail regarding this very case. And in today's session, I'm going to be reading out every details of this court order and this hearing notice from the Federal High Court of Nigeria because Nnamdi Kanu's case has been brought forward to Friday this week. And I can 100% affirm to you now that Nnamdi Kanu's trial will hold on Friday, the 26th of September, this very week, 2025. Well, before showing and reading out the content of this hearing notice from the Federal High Court of Nigeria, there is a brief video of Nnamdi Kanu that I want to play here for you guys. I deem it fit to play this particular video in order to know what Nnamdi Kanu stands for, because Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for the good of the Igbos and the good of his people, and we have to support him on the 26th of this very month. I will read the hearing notice just like as I've told you. But before then, just listen to what Nnamdi Kanu has to say in this very video. And after watching this video comprehensively, I'm going to bring you the comprehensive details of what is written in this court order and this hearing notice from the Federal High Court of Nigeria.
Have gone through beatings. I understand you've been in
everything. I've been stripped naked and everything for my faith.
Because talk to us a little bit about your journey, because it has been a personal one where you continue to be a voice for Biafra.
Yes. It started very many years ago. I was educated in England. I went to school in London, and upon graduation, I decided to serve my people because I didn't like what was going on. We have a group of friends, about 6 of us from Africa. We said when we graduate, we pick one tiny African country and go there and try and develop it. Very, very thoughtful and quite progressive of us. And upon graduation, the rest got very blue chip jobs and developed cold feet. I decided to carry on with it because I felt that the only thing that makes you human is your ability to reason. And as an African, as somebody from Biafra land, unless my land reflects what I believe I possess up here, then I have not made any telling or meaningful contribution to the advancement of mankind. So I decided to plug ahead with it. I went home initially to try and see what we can do to start a revolution on the ground, because the existing order is essentially irredeemably corrupt, as you well know. So we started it, and it didn't quite go very well. I came back to the UK, reassembled, and went back again. We met a few people. We started Radio Biafra, and we started preaching the truth in 2009. And some people were uncomfortable with it. And when I traveled home for a private family ceremony, I was kidnapped. I was beaten, I was tortured, I had people spit at me, some urinated and poured it at me, and for speaking the truth, for telling them that they were the...
So just like I said at the beginning of this very video, I'll be reading out the hearing notice from the Federal High Court of Nigeria, and I want to read this for you in details so you know and follow up this very case, because this very week will be very tense. and Nnamdi Kanu's no case submission file will be heard in court this very week, which makes it a very crucial week in Nnamdi Kanu's life. Let's read this together. In the Federal High Court of Nigeria, hearing notice. Suit number FHC/ABJ/CS/383 20.15 Federal Republic of Nigeria plaintiff between Nnamdi Kanu, defendants to Kanu G. Agabi and associates suits, Trinity House, plot 943, Cadastral Zone BO6, Mabushi Districts, Abuja, for the above named, the defendants counsel. This cause will be transferred from the general cause lists to the hearing paper for ruling the 26th day of September 2025 at 9 a.m. o'clock in the forenoon, and will come on to be heard on that day if the business of the court permits, or otherwise on some adjournment day of which you will receive no further notice. If either party desires to postpone the hearing, he must apply to the courts as soon as possible for that purpose. And if the application is based on any matter of facts, he must be prepared to give proof of those facts. The first two paragraphs of this hearing has now confirmed Nnamdi Kanu's trial, slated for 26th of September, and it is directed to the counsel of Nnamdi Kanu. And the first two paragraphs, it was boldly and clearly written that any of the counsel that has any objection to the 26th of October, that he or she should submit his or her proof on or before then. But for this, I believe that Nnamdi Kanu's counsel will be more than happy for the case to go on the 26th of September. Well, let's continue reading in order to wrap this up. The parties are warned that at the hearing, they are required to bring forward all the evidence by witnesses or by documents which each of them desires to rely on in support of his own case and in contradiction of that of his opponents. The proof will be required at the hearing and not on a subsequent day, and parties failing to bring their evidence forward at the proper time may find themselves absolutely precluded from adducing it at all, or at best only allowed to do so on payment of substantial costs to the other side and on such other terms as the court thinks fair to impose. This is the court warning the both parties, Nnamdi Kanu's counsel led by Agabi and Tinubu's counsel led by Awomolo, that whatsoever evidence they have must be submitted on the 26th day of September this month and not on a subsequent day. And Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers must be prepared. And I believe so that Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer has more than enough evidence to make sure that the no case submission file is adopted. Let's continue. Parties desirous to enforce the attendance of witnesses should apply at once to the courts to issue one or more summonses for the attendance of witnesses required. It is indispensable that the application should be made so as to allow time for reasonable notice to the witnesses required. If the witness is required to bring books or papers, they must be particularized in summons sufficiently to enable him to understand what is meant. Any party summoning a witness through the courts thereby becomes liable to pay such witness reasonable sum of money to be fixed by the courts for his expense and loss of time. Now this brings us to Awomolo, because Awomolo keeps on paying DSS witnesses to come and testify wrongly against Nnamdi Kanu. In the last court sitting that was adjourned, Awomolo brought a masked DSS witness to come and testify wrongly against Nnamdi Kanu. Everything that DSS witness said against Nnamdi Kanu was false. Everything the DSS witness testified in court on that very day was false. And here is the courts now giving guidelines on how to bring witnesses in courts. And now, the only witness you are allowed to bring to court is the one the court permits. Because Awomolo is guilty of this. Nnamdi Kanu has been suffering for what he does not know. Still yet, Awomolo has no conscience. Awomolo does not think of Nnamdi Kanu's welfare. All he wants is to enrich his pockets. And here is the court now giving guidelines that if you must bring a witness, you must use a witness from the Federal High Court. Let's continue. The courts may refuse to enforce the attendance of a witness unless such sum has been fixed and deposited in the courts. If either party desires to use in evidence at the hearing any book or documents in the possession or power of the other party, he must give the other party reasonable notice in writing to produce it at the hearing, failing which he will not be allowed to give any secondary evidence of its contents. This was dated at Abuja, this 22nd day of September 2025, by order of the courts. And as you can see, this was signed by the registrar. This clearly confirms that Nnamdi Kanu's trial has been cancelled for the October 10th and brought forward to the 26th day of September, which is this very week. But our question now lies, what was their motive? Whether positive or bad? We hope for a fair hearing for Nnamdi Kanu, and we hope that Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers are prepared to defend the no-case submission file that was filed against Tinubu's counsel, led by Awomolo. And Awomolo, who keeps on bringing different witnesses to come and testify wrongly against Nnamdi Kanu. We pray that Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers and his counsel finally defeats Awomolo, because Awomolo keeps on tormenting Nnamdi Kanu. At this very point, what's your thoughts about Nnamdi Kanu's trial, which will hold on the 26th day of September? Express to me what you feel about this in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, and hit the subscribe button below for more trending updates.